If you like people with honest opinions, then this is for you. This is the Mouth That Roared podcast exclusively on Podbean.com. Also, please remember to follow me on Instagram at the Mouth That Roared podcast. And now, without further ado, here is the host of the Mouth That Roared, me, Chris Sheehan. Hey everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Mouth That Roared. I am the host of this show. My name is Chris Sheehan, and as many of you know by my recent posts on the Mouth That Roared podcast Instagram page, I recently went on an overnight trip to Washington, D.C. Now, originally, this trip was supposed to last the whole weekend, but like many other things, that never happened. Now, there were many reasons why the trip was cut short, but one reason in particular was the place in which we were staying. Now, the hotel room, if you can even call it that, was very small and compact, no room to spread out, the lack of space, running out of things to do, and I should have mentioned this earlier, bunk beds. Now, I am a very hefty guy, as you all know. I mean, bunk beds aren't exactly comfortable. All of this contributed to our early checkout. Now, I went with my father. We all... the two of us wanted to have like a guy's weekend. You know, we don't really do much together, and when we get along somewhat. I mean, we're always bickering, we're always cursing at each other and doing all kinds of things. But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, he is my father, and I do love him, believe it or not. So it was nice to have a little bit of time, bonding time together. And, you know, many of you probably think after hearing all of this that I did not have a good time, but I mean, I can only assume that that is what all of you are thinking right now. But in all honesty, I really did have a good time. That wasn't the case at all. In the brief day and a half that I was down there, I saw a lot and learned a lot of things that I never thought existed. I mean, in total, my father and I went to 4 museums, and among our list of museums to see was the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian American History Museum, the National Archives, and Ford's Theater. And my personal favorite actually was the American History Museum, because I got to see the most beloved things in television history, Archie and Edith Bunker's chairs. Now, it's weird, the whole time that I stared at these chairs, all I could think of was, you know, Carol O'Connor's ass sat in this chair, and Gene Stapleton's ass sat in this chair. I mean, it's pretty weird when, you know, you see these things and that's all you could think of, is that history, in a way, was made just by sitting in those 2 chairs. I mean, so many things happened on that show, so many groundbreaking incidents took place on that show, that it was, you know, interesting to see that up close and in person, and to be able to take pictures of it and, you know, preserve that memory is very special to me. And I know it sounds pretty pathetic to just, you know, be drooling over a chair like that, but I mean, again, these were such iconic chairs. They were such iconic television characters of all times. And, you know, it's very interesting. And you know, this is something that I will always remember. Now, I also enjoyed Ford's Theater as well. And there's a little bit of trivia with this. Now, I don't have the whole trivia. I heard little bits and pieces of this, because honestly, I was starting to drift off, because they had this little acting thing where, you know, a little skit where the one of the guys played a character from back in the day when, you know, Lincoln was shot. And then there was another kid, and they had this little skit going between the two of them where they were both playing, you know, they were talking about how they lived back then and what they did and all of this. I don't even remember their names, but basically, the guy was telling a trivia fact about how John Wilkes Booth, the man that assassinated President Lincoln, he never actually broke his leg while jumping out of the balcony. Now, many people think that that actually happened, where, you know, as soon as he killed the president, he went and jumped off the balcony, and the next thing you know, he broke his leg by hitting the stage. But it turns out that the stage is too high up to the balcony. Like, there's not, you know, it's not that far of a jump. So, really, what I found out, or at least what I heard somewhat anyway, was that the John Wilkes Booth, he had his leg crushed by a horse when he stole a horse, and the horse fell on top of him, and that's how the leg got broke, apparently. Now, I don't know. That's what I heard from the guy that was doing the skit, the actor, I guess you can call him. But you know what? However he broke his leg, it doesn't matter, just so long as they were able to catch him. I mean, really. That's really what's important. I mean, a guy shoots the president. I mean, you don't exactly let him get away. And I want to say this too, while I'm still talking about DC, and I'm getting ready to wrap this up here, but again, I want to remind you all, do not, I repeat, do not stay at a pod hotel, unless of course you are the only person going. I've never had to stay at a hotel with bunk beds, and without a mini fridge, a microwave, and hell, even a closet. I mean, they didn't even have a closet there. Although it was very clean, again, I said that before, I will give them that. This whole trip made me come to multiple conclusions, though. I mean, not only am I not a traveler, I also am not a go-with-the-flow type of guy. I mean, so with all of this being said, I would like to thank you all for listening to this edition of The Mouth That Roared. Please remember to download every podcast as usual, and also you can go to podbean.com and or the Podbean app on Google Play and the App Store. And until next time, I thank you all, and goodbye, everybody.